What's up everyone, Steven here with Neural DSP, and today I want to talk to you about effectively using impulse responses to get great tones from your amp sim. Let's dig in. So let's go ahead and hop into this. I'll be using the Fortin NTS on the rhythm section for this example. Now there are a bunch of different microphones in this section to choose from, and each one has its own specific characteristic. And by mixing the two together, you get to combine the best qualities of either to get a great sound. And if you're not familiar with these mics, what I would suggest is to turn off the second impulse response and then just go through a single one, changing it at its default location so you get a really good sense of what your microphone's doing to your tone. So let's just go through the first section so you can hear what each microphone does to the characteristic of the sound. And once you get comfortable knowing what to expect from each microphone, then you can start digging into the controls, changing the placement of the microphone relative to the speaker cone. So we'll just start with a 57 so you can have a good example of what that's going to do to the sound. And I feel that sounds pretty good right about there. So you can hear that as I change the position of the microphone, it starts to affect that high end kind of fizz. You get too close to the speaker cap, it starts to get a little too fizzy in that high range, get a little too far from it, and you start losing a lot of that clarity of the notes. And changing the distance of the microphone lets a little bit more of that room sound in, which is really nice for other styles, but metal generally you want it to be a more direct sort of sound. So now let's start blending in an additional microphone. So I would start to consider either the Condenser 184 or the Ribbon 121 because those both sound really well paired with the 57 so far. But let's start changing the position of the microphones and see if we can improve on this sound a little bit more. That sounds pretty good to me. So we have our impulse response set up and it sounds pretty good, but we can actually take this a step further and change our impulse responses dependent on the section that's being played. Because I know tonally the A section and the B section are vastly different because the first is much more percussive, the second one is much more open. So what I can do is set up so that my impulse responses change dependent on the section that's being played and the tone that I want to get out of my guitars. So what I did is I duplicated my tracks and muted the sections that I don't want to be played. So let's go ahead and set up our impulse responses for the second section and see what we come up with. So again, what I'm going to start off with is the dynamic 57. I left it in the same place as the previous example, but let's just start from here and see where we get to. So what I'm looking for is I want to get rid of a little bit more of that high end because I want this section to be warmer than the previous section. I want it to kind of fill up the space and be as dynamic as possible and kind of build up to that sort of chorus kind of section. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Please leave a like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below and let me know what your favorite combination of impulse responses was. As always, I'll see you in the next video.